advocate that people, black people, non-white people, begin to look at it like a chessboard and understand that if people who classify themselves as white are playing for white genetic survival, then they cannot do the things that black people expect them to do, like help across the board.
We live in a time now where regular men, and specifically regular black men, have more challenges than ever before. Standards are higher than they ever have been, as average men are employed to not only be successful, but own the business. At the same time, women, even those who are new mothers in relationships, are urged to not only show themselves off, but to chastise any man that attempts to set boundaries, even ones they're in relationships with. The current day iteration of the black community celebrates behaviors unseen in past generations. Now, behaviors that were unimaginable have become commonplace. And things like children born out of wedlock went from something that was extremely rare and shunned to just normal behavior. And in this age where the traditional family has seen a breakdown in the black community, we're seeing new heightened calls and acceptance of not just dating out, but specifically dating a certain group of men.
And that black people are going to have to get accustomed to playing the black side of the chessboard.
This is Dr. Frances Cress Welsing, a famous psychiatrist, and she speaks in her works of the dynamics in a variety of mating and dating issues and power dynamics around the world as related to color and race. But here she's speaking about, on the Donahue show, how black people are going to have to rethink the way they play the dating and mating game. And this, of course, is in the 1980s when she says this. But in light of the changing landscape that we're seeing around us, with more and more young ladies having a clear affinity to dating a certain type, not just in racial groups outside of ours, but in our own racial group, she speaks to a need for black people, in this case, I would say black men, to rethink the way that we look at how we're going to date and mate.
It's not about hate. Right. See, when you sit down to play chess, you don't hate your opponent. You just know that the white side of the chessboard that always moves first, you see, is playing offense, defense, and the black side has to play defense, offense.
Here she speaks to playing the chess game from the black or disadvantaged position, and in that, I see that black men who are SYSBM / passport bros, etc., needed to solve if they want to have a family is, one, you have to find a woman that not only will respect you, but will submit to your authority. For black men, that would be increasingly difficult, if not almost impossible, to find in the modern black community, and maybe possibly even in the places where they are. And so that means that black men have to think outside of the traditional box of find cute girl, meet cute girl, do the same thing that your grandparents did, and things are going to work out. Black men have to think of solutions outside of that. And of course, the second thing that black men need to think about when trying to solve this issue is where or who with can I create an environment in where I can raise healthy children? And this, of course, ties in with the first issue of someone who will submit to and trust your authority, and maybe even follow you to the place where you can do this family rearing the best.
And that black people are going to have to get accustomed to playing the black side of the chessboard. It's not about hate. Right. See, when you sit down to play chess, you don't hate your opponent. You just know that the white side of the chessboard that always moves first, you see, is playing offense, defense, and the black side has to play defense, offense. And that the anticipation is that the white king is going to be trying to what? Checkmate the black king.
Events in the last few months have shown that men in the black community have less and less control over the behavior of their sisters, their daughters, and even their significant others. And that behavior is more and more dictated by outside forces. What those outside forces may be can be left to interpretation. But that said, if we are indeed playing a chess game, then to win this chess game, which would be to rear healthy children that have characteristics that mimic us in a situation where we can have a loving and strong family, Black men are going to have to think outside of the box. They're going to have to think of new ways to win this chess game in a way where they can have a family that's somewhat like the traditional family that their grandparents would have had, but they'll have to do it in a different way. Now, is that SYSBM and find someone where they are? Is that Passport Bros and going overseas? We don't know the answer to this question. But we do know that the world around us and the environment of the Black community is simply not conducive to building families. It's a chess game as illustrated by Dr. Francis Cress Welsing. How are you going to play the game, gentlemen? Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment below. Catch you guys in the next video. Take care, guys.